All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday, January 14. Hope everyone had an amazing day yesterday. Hope everyone's having a great morning today. All right, so let's get started with our pre-market show. For those joining us for the first time, my name is Carlos. We're also live on YouTube. So welcome to our show so we can see how we prepare every morning before the market opens and how we build our watch list. So before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about, there's a great question that keeps coming up. I get several emails on it. Also on our YouTube videos, we get this question quite often is, how do you know if you're in a pullback or if it's going to reverse? And the truth is nobody really knows what's going to happen in the market. You know, nobody knows for certainty 100% of the time that there's going to be a reversal or if it's going to actually just a pullback and continue in the direction that you're in. So I got several questions last night. I want to show you guys some pictures I have here. All right, so again, it's all about just probabilities and understanding that nobody really knows. You just got to look for the best indication that something is going to happen over the opposite of what you're trying to get done, right? And that's the key here. It's all about probabilities and having identifying setups that constantly give you an edge, right? I keep talking about an edge, and that's very important. So let's look at a trade here. We're talking now about opening range breakdown, right? And here you can see, again, you have this drop here, and then it starts pulling back. And this is my indication to go in for a short. So I get in here for a short, set my stop loss above VWAP, maybe this moving average over here. Then the minute it starts dropping, you start taking profits, right? Now, we've seen this setup hundreds of times, right? Where it comes down here and it sells off. We also seen it where it comes up and it continues to actually go up above the VWAP and you get stopped out. The key here is going to be risk management. This is something that Robert put a great video together about managing risk. And again, there's a lot of great traders that can identify these patterns. The issue becomes the risk management, right? When it gets to their stop loss, they're not stopping out and hoping that it comes back down. Next thing you know, they're getting out up here for a bigger loss than they would be if they would have stopped out. Now, if you take this trade 10 times and 5 times you're wrong, but you stop out those 5 times, even 7 times, right? Or 6 times out of 10, but you let your winners run like you do here, then you will be a profitable trader. So nobody knows that this is going to drop. I don't know that this is a pullback. I have no clue, and nobody knows, right? But this indication here shows that, okay, most likely this is a good risk to reward. Here's what I'm going to get in to get to these levels, previous day close, and I'm going to get stopped out over here. So almost 3 to 1, 2 to 1, a risk to reward ratio here. So that's one example. I have several that I picked out this morning because I think it's a great question. Here's another one, also BMY a couple of days ago. Sells off, comes back. I don't know that this is a pullback or it's going to sell off. And I actually wanted a sell-off that would be faster than this. But guess what? It took a while. I have my stop loss above VWAP. Once it starts selling off, then we start taking profits. So this could easily go the other way, but I'm going to get stopped out here and look for the next opportunity if this is not going to be to go in my direction. Here's another one. Here's the one from yesterday. And actually, here's where that question was posted on the comments. Great example, right? So let's say you forget about all of this over here. Forget it, because it's easy now to look at a chart and say, oh, that's chop. You know, what are you doing trading that stock? So forget about all of this here. You're looking at a drop here, comes up to VWAP, and it's ready to sell off, right? The other two that we saw did the exact same thing. So that's my signal to get in. That's my entry. I'm going to get in here, set stop loss above VWAP, and I'm going to ride this down to a crack of the low of the day. So that's the process, right? Here's one where it doesn't work out, right? It comes down. It doesn't sell off as I expected it. And we traded this live yesterday. It doesn't sell off as I expected down to these levels over here. On the way back, I get out at break even. Now here, it decides to do this consolidation. And we've seen it plenty of times where it drops down, does not sell off, and then shoots up. So after getting out of the trade, looking back and saying, okay, what is this stock giving me now? It gave me another opportunity where it's going above VWAP. And it looks like now it's a good risk to reward to set my stop loss below this candle and take it up towards the highs of the levels we have here. It doesn't run as much, right? I take some out here, take some off here, and then when it comes back down, now I'm realizing this price action does not look great, right? So I take everything out. So this candle stopped me out of break even or a little more than that, but the price action doesn't look good now. Now, if you take a step back and you look at the 5-minute chart, now this looks like pure chop. I'm not going to trade it again. But in these trades here, you have no idea if there's a chop or not. And that's something that a lot of traders ask. Well, how do you know if a stock is going to be choppy or if it's going to run? Another question that we don't know for sure. So the most important thing is make sure you're managing your risk. That's the number one thing. And if you see a setup that you traded several times, take the trade. and trust that your risk management is going to back you up. Here's another one where MU sells off, sells back up. Again, another great entry here. Set my stop loss below this candle, and then we take advantage of this great move. If this were to turn back down, then I get stopped out here, and then I move on to the next opportunity. So it's all about probabilities, knowing your risk, having good risk management, and making sure you're executing your stop losses. Do not let things run past your stop in the hope that it's going to come back up. If it does come back up, guess what? Get back in the trade. And Robert did that yesterday on a Citigroup, ticker C, right? It got down, it got to his stop loss, he had to jump out. And then when the opportunity presented itself again as a good risk to reward, he jumped right back in without hesitation and took advantage of a great move. All right. So that's just some advice that I gave. We get that question quite often, so I wanted to give you some little insight on that and then kind of show you how we trade those and how our class 5 that we have on risk management is so crucial. Again, there's a lot of great traders out there that can spot these opportunities, but without good risk management, if you're not managing that risk properly, you're going to and your losers are going to end up being bigger than your winners, and that's where traders get in trouble, especially new traders like myself and other ones in our community. You have to be careful when it comes to that. All right, so let's get right into it. We're going to talk about our top plays for yesterday. So this was our watch list yesterday that we had here. These were just possibles, but this was PCG, MU, AMD, C and WDC, and also MBOS. So just want to go over some of the top plays we have from yesterday. Look at WDC, was an amazing opening range breakdown. Sells off in this 5-minute candle, gives you a nice hesitation here, a pullback. This would have been your entry to get in, right? It does this bottom, consolidates, comes up to VWAP. This is your indication to get in. I missed this trade. Brian caught it, so that was nice of him. And then it ride this down, take some profits on the way down. Another good thing about taking profits is that some people try to wait for the levels. What I try to do is when I see the loss of momentum, you're going to start noticing that the price goes up, it starts losing momentum or speed. That's when you want to hit your hotkey and take some profits out, some partial, if scaling out is part of the process you're doing for your strategy. Then later on in the mid-morning, it does this beautiful double bottom. We called it out in the chat room. Several members took this trade, which is excellent. Once it starts coming above VWAP, you jump right in here. Volume comes in at the bottom, and then you can ride this up nicely. I missed this trade. I was kind of done for the day. I believe I was still probably trading C. I don't recall. But I called the trade out, but I had my good day already, so I didn't want to keep trading more than that. But just a beautiful double bottom in the mid-morning. As you recall here, C, we traded C yesterday. It was on our watch list as well in the morning. A lot of buying pressure here. It pops up, and then it gives you this beautiful pullback here to VWAP on the 5-minute chart. So if you're waiting for that 5-minute mark, it gives you an amazing entry right over here. And the way to take this trade is you don't know when it's going to stop going down, right? So once it starts going up, you're not going to get in here, but here is where you want to get in. As it's going up to crack the previous candle, that's a great entry because then you can set your risk at the bottom of this wick in case it decides to consolidate and then go up. But this one here, the minute you get in, just takes off pretty nice to these levels here, and it trades really well. And also we had an amazing bull flag called by Robert yesterday. This bull flag happens here. You could have got in here for a good risk to reward, and then it immediately takes off. So a very nice trade on the C yesterday was definitely in play. AMD was another one that at the first few minutes was very choppy here. So again, this is not tradable, and if you get stuck in this, it's okay. Just have good risk management, as we just discussed on MU from my trade from yesterday. But if you waited a bit, maybe a 15-minute break or a 10-minute opening range breakup, this tells you once it goes above VWAP, an excellent entry here. Set your risk down over here because you could give this little room. There's only a 10 cents move, right? So you want to give it enough room. That's also very important. Then it takes off, and then you start taking profits on the way up here. So just an amazing trade on AMD for opening range. MU we kind of discussed already in my example. So here again, now that you look at this, like, wow, this is extremely choppy. But when you're in this trade, you have no idea that that's happening. So risk management will help you survive those trades. Then PCG was all over the place yesterday. Again, it was not tradable. We were watching it, but the price action was pretty bad. You had this huge candle going up, then back down, and just kind of hanging around here, not giving you a really nice move. So again, just a very hard trade to take. MBOT was definitely in play yesterday. Took off really nicely. Again, just several ABCD patterns after ABCD patterns. So again, whoever took that trade had an amazing run here. So that is our top plays and highlights from yesterday. So let's get rid of this and let's get into what we have this morning. So every morning, the pre-market show, we're going to go over our trade ideas gappers list, which is right over here. So we'll see which stocks are in play. And then we also go over our top list and Nasdaq active right over here to see if we can find anything else. And then I'm going to ask the chat room if they have anything on their end that I have missed, and we can go over and see what the price action looks like. So let's start with NVEV. NVEV is gapping up today 4.9%. Let's zoom in here into our chart. All right, so gapping up 4.4%, 1.2 million shares traded so far. So this has a lot of volume. Pre-market action looks good. Looks like we have some type of flow here. We try to see stocks that have a flow in the pre-market action with volume. So this looks good today. Looks a little bit better than yesterday. So we'll keep it on here and we'll see find some levels in a second. Next we have MBA, and what we want to do here with MBA is I want to throw this down here, as it is a low flow stock, I believe, and it's actually very low flow. Again, it's 2.46 million shares flow. So you want to be very careful and really manage your risk on here. There is no shares for sure. It is up 1.6 at the moment. Volume is there, not like yesterday. Yesterday had amazing volume, so the volume is there, but the pre-market action right now does not look great. You have this one candle, all the volume here. For our style of trading right now, the volume has dried up. So let's see if it picks up. But the pre-market action looks good. You have this flow, this range, and this is what we like to see. All right, next we have JPM. I know JPM is reporting today, right? Earnings. Was it this morning, guys, or was it or is it this afternoon? I'm not sure when it is scheduled for, but I know they are scheduled for today. So didn't make earnings. Okay, so didn't make earnings, so that's out today. So here what we have 483,000 shares traded so far this morning, so that's great volume here. And then we're gapping down 2.5. Pre-market action looks great. You have this drop over here. Now it's kind of holding this level around 98 or so. Again, we're not going to have a bias going into this stock because we've seen that quite often when stocks drop a lot. They tend to find a base and take off. So we're going to wait for the open, see what the opening bell gives us, and not take either short or long until we have a good indication of where we can find an edge, a good risk to reward at the open. So right now it looks good. Has the volume, has a good pre-market action. We'll keep this on here. This one is one that we obviously do not trade here because it's just, if you cannot manage your risk on a stock, it's very difficult to trade. TLRY is a stock that, you take a couple of shares, and if it goes in your direction, you get caught in some kind of squeeze or drop. I mean, you're really going to pay the price. So why trade something that you cannot manage your risk, right? Forget about the fear of missing out. Throw that out the window. We want to work on consistency and great risk management. And this stock does not provide that. I mean, look at these candles, right? This is going from 103 down to 97, right, in a matter of 5 minutes. And this is only the pre-market. So let's see what the open brings. But again, great volume, gapping down 5.3. If you choose to watch this stock, please be very, very careful. I myself am not going to watch it. And then we have PCG. PCG just continues to really tank here, down 14.4 this morning. I wish I would have held my swing trade from a couple of days ago on this. I was in at 19. Now it's at $7. It's just unbelievable. So rumors of bankruptcy. Again, for those that don't know, joining us for the first time, this is the company, the utility company that had the fire in California. Then here are the rumors of possible bankruptcy and then actual bankruptcy. So you can see the events and how that has affected this stock. So today is down another 14%. Let's look at the pre-market action. This will definitely be in play. Obviously, it will be in short selling restriction right off the bat. I do have shares for short, so that's great. So we are going to watch this. Yesterday did not trade as well, so we're going to be careful to see how the open is. And again, watch a number of shares. This is a smaller price stock, a lower price stock, so you can, just because you have the buying power, do not go in here with 1,000 units because, again, depending on your account size, you want to really, it's all about managing that risk, so be very, very careful. All right, so now that's AMD, our buddy AMD, which we trade quite often. Let's bring it up over here. All right, so AMD, 785,000 shares traded so far, which is normal for this this stock, always with a lot of volume. And then gapping up 2.4, so that's good. All right, so pre-market action also looks great. You can see the volume in here coming in, so it's kind of on an uptrend now. Daily chart looks good as well. We have several levels, and we'll go over those levels as well. So I like AMD. We'll watch it, and we'll find some new levels for AMD as it's making newer highs today. All right, now let's go over to our Nasdaq active, Nasdaq gainers right over here. So we'll see if we can find anything that's in play. ABIL has the volume, 1 million shares traded right now. What is the flow on this one? Flow is 2.4. So a little bit on the, definitely a low float. It is up 31% today with volume. So we'll keep it on here. I'm going to throw it down in the low floats area over here. So these are risky stocks. You want to be very careful and really manage your size. THST, no volume here, up 27%. But again, the pre-market action looks horrible. And what we mean by a bad pre-market action, as you guys know already, is again, we want to see a flow to it. This has no flow to it. Look at AMD. That's a great pre-market action. There's volume. There's a range and an uptrend. Now losing it. That's a great pre-market action. KTOV, nothing happening right now. It's getting some volume now, so it could be getting better. But at the moment, it's not doesn't look great. So we'll skip it for now. BSQR, nothing happening here. Gapping up 20%. But again, guys, volume is key. If you don't have the volume for the open, you can get stuck in a really crappy position. So we'll skip that one. YTNE, no volume, up 28%, but again, just nothing happening here. MYOS, horrible pre-market action. It's just no flow here at all. It's got some gaps in here. Next we have SFED. SFED we traded in the past. Not the best pre-market action, but the volume is not there. It is gapping up 16.6. What is the flow on FFED? Yeah, this is really low flow, less than 1 million shares. Is that correct, guys? Can somebody check Finviz just to make sure that Trade Idea has the right thing here? But not the best daily chart. We have traded in the past, and when it gets the volume, as you can see here, you have when it gets the volume, it does run, right? So you got it popping up over here. So today could be one of those days, but right now the volume is only 151,000 shares, gapping up 16%. Not the cleanest pre-market action. I'm going to skip this one because we have already two over here that seem to have a better pre-market action and a lot more volume. MBOT with 666,000 shares traded so far, and ABIL with almost 1.1 million shares traded. So we'll watch those instead. RESN, no volume, gapping up 11%. Nothing happening there. NURO, also horrible pre-market action, just pretty flat. We don't like that. We want to see a nice little flow to it with some volume. Next up, we'll go up to number 10. Next up is WTR. So WTR, I will say this looks okay. But the volume needs to pick up. The volume is only at 75,000 shares right now. I'm gapping up 8.5. Let's see what the daily chart looks like. So it has been going up the last several days. You can see here tons of volume. So we'll put it on here. Let's see how it develops throughout the morning. It's a little early. Needs to get more volume. The pre-market action on the 5-minute chart looks decent. This is what I'm going to add it on here as a possible. Because when it does get the volume, it runs. But right now, it just needs to get better volume. This volume needs to be consistent here so it can create a really nice price action. All right, so now at Nasdaq active, which is this column over here. Let's see what we have in this area. NVEV we have already down here, so we have that in our list. A-bill we have already. AMD we have. MBOT we have as well. These are Nasdaq indicators, so I don't trade those. AYTU, 255,000 shares traded already. Okay, pre-market action. What is the flow on this? Oh, it's another low flow as well. All right, I don't want to watch too many low floats because again, I possibly won't be trading them anyways. So I'm gonna go with the ones that have more volume. We'll put it on here for now, and then later on we'll eliminate the weak and keep the ones that look better. So over here, TLRY, we kind of discussed already. Again, this stock, there's no shares for short. A lot of people do not have shares for short in this stock because they just don't want to deal with the risk of this type of a stock. I mean, I remember the day this thing went up to 300 and the same day dropped down to 200 and even lower, right? I mean, this was just crazy. How do you manage your risk besides taking, 20 shares and possibly losing $100, right? So it's just too hard to manage your risk. Stay away from it, especially if you're not experienced. There's plenty of other stocks that we can trade with good risk management skills that we can practice on there. PRPO, no volume. Actually, it does have the volume, 232,000 shares traded, but the pre-market action is horrible. This is not a pre-market action you want to trade. Look at these candles over here. Look at now it's all flat, and also look at the price. Anything above $3 or a buck is usually pretty wacky. SGYP, also another one that does not have a great pre-market action. All right, guys, so what do you have on your end? So I'm looking here in the main chat room. You have CGC. That's one that's been on a tear yesterday. What is it doing today? 758,000 shares traded. That's tons of volume. It's up 1.9%. Yeah, this would definitely be in play today. This is a stock that's again, there's news about them getting some kind of deal with New York City, I believe. So look at this. The last several days has been tearing it up. Yesterday had an amazing move. I believe it was around midday or so. So this looks very good. All right, so now here let's go over to what else we have. TRY, CGC is definitely in play. Bill has DAL. So DAL, let's see here. Not a good pre-market action on DL right now. And the daily chart looks pretty crappy at the moment. So again, no volume. Look at this pre-market action, doesn't look great. Let me see the 5-minute chart. Yeah, not great at the moment. Now this stock, it is gapping down 2%. Maybe later in the day it could become cleaner, but at the moment it needs to get a better pre-market action. So we can throw it down here for a possible mid-morning play, but at the open I'm not going to watch that one. That could change between now and 9:30. When Andrew comes on around 9:15, he'll go through the watch list as well and see what his watch list is going to be, and this could change, right? So if that does, I'll add it and take one of mine off if that doesn't look as good. All right, next we have what do you guys have over here? Play. All right, is play in play. Oops. Here we go. Yeah, no volume, not a good pre-market action. As you can see here, these candles are just all over the place, and only 4,000 shares today. So play is definitely not in play today. We have Cron. What is Cron up to? Cron, 170,000 shares, so decent volume, but the pre-market action doesn't look great. And Cron, unless it has a lot of volume, me personally, this could be a buy. It doesn't trade really well. Let's see what the daily chart looks like. Yeah, it's been slowly grinding higher, but it could be losing it here and starting to go lower. I don't have shares for short. I like to watch stocks that I can short and go long, so I'm going to skip this one and move on to another one. But it could be a good play later on in the day, so keep it on your side watch list. STM, non the scanners, thank you. So STM is popping up here in our gappers list. Let's see what STM is up to. STM is a little weird, by the way. We get this on our gappers list a lot, and the price action is not clean. Right now, 170,000 shares, but look at this pre-market action, right? So you got one candle here with the volume. I mean, this is not a clean pre-market action. You want to kind of see a flow, more like what AMD is doing. Let's look at AMD. See, this is a nice pre-market action. It's creating some ranges, got the volume here, building up. This is what you want to see. All right, guys, so let's make this list a little smaller. Let's get rid of the weak and keep the ones that look best. I like to watch around no more than 6 and maybe 1 low float. So let's see NVEV. At the moment, gapping up 6.3, 1.4 million shares traded so far. Good pre-market action. So let's find some levels. Looks like we have a level right up here at 778, and we got this level from this peak over here. So above that, we have another level right up here from this day at around 806. Okay, this thing really decides to run. That could be a possible level if we can get it. There we go. 804. And then above that, again, if this thing really runs, you can have another level right up here between these candles. Not the cleanest levels. I like levels where you have a spike like this one up here. This is clean. So 928. So 846, 928. Towards the downside, we have the previous day high hanging out right here, and then you have the previous day close. You can also mark the low of the day, 714 for today, the low of the pre-market, and then below that we have 687 if it really decides to break down. So pretty clean levels on MBEV so far. And now let's go over to JP Morgan. Let's see what JP Morgan is doing. Again, the volume just seems to dry up. Again, it had good volume. You have some candles that have amazing volume, like this one here, this one here, this one here. But now it just seems pretty flat. So it doesn't look great. We'll find some levels, but this might be one that I drop off and do not keep on my watch list. So let's find some levels. Clear level over here down at 91.20, right? This day it bounces right from there. You have another clean level right over here around 96.81, and then one over here at 93. 54. So if this thing decides takes a swim, you can this could be a possible support level, and then a possible support level here as well. Towards the upside, you have plenty of levels already. Here's a previous day low from this day, previous day low from this day. Above that, you can have a previous day low from this day, 99.33. Then above that, you have the previous day high, obviously, and then the previous day close, and then this previous day high. So plenty of levels on JP Morgan, as you can see. Again, the pre-market action started nicely, starting to do a nice little flow here, sell-off bounces, and kind of, doing a little flow here. But now it's starting to be a little flat. So could find a base, who knows? Well, we'll see at the open how it develops. PCG just on a tear, on the highway to hell at the moment. So let's find some levels here. I know this 651 that we found here, we went really back to find this level because we haven't been down here for PCG in a long time. Not sure if it's an all-time low, so let's go back. Let's go back. All right, 2007. Do we have anything lower than that? Maybe not. All right, I think that is yep, that is an all-time low right over here. We found this day all-time low at 651, so no levels below that. And the way it looks like, it really probably wants to crack that and keep going. So towards the upside, we have several levels already because we've been watching this stock closely. You have 768, you have the previous day close, you have the 928, you have the previous day high from yesterday, and then 1035. So again, tons of levels. And then below that 651, there's nothing else there. And it looks like this is a great pre-market action, by the way. Look at the volume coming in here, right? So 1.7 million shares traded so far. Short selling restriction, so you have to short this on an uptick, down 17% almost. So this will definitely be in play today. AMD is in play. Let's find some levels. Let's remove these and get some clean levels in here. Let's see here. Where's my... Here we go. So let's remove these levels and find some clean ones. So towards the upside, you have the high of the pre-market today hanging out at 2078. Above that, you have a clean level over here on this the top of this day, 2121, and then 2143. Clean levels over here. Again, AMD doesn't move much, so you got to be careful to not let it run. Try to get a 50 cents out of it, because that's not going to happen with AMD, right? It's a slow mover. So I'm gonna have another possible profit target at 2102, because I know AMD is not going to move much, right? Then towards the bottom, you have the previous day high from this day, previous day close hanging around 2025. Then below that, you have the previous day low at 1975 right over here. Also, you have all these moving averages coming in. Then below that, you have 1925. So plenty of clean levels for AMD. If it drops, you have these levels here that can hold. Right now, pre-market action looks good. Tons of volume, so that's great. CGC holding this 43 level. Looks like it might want to bounce back here. Let's remove all of these and find some clean levels. All right, so towards the top, we have the high of the pre-market hanging out at 44.73, excuse me. And then above that, you have this peak over here at around 46.58. So that's nice. So you have two clean levels up there. Below that, you have the previous day close. You have you can also mark the previous day. That's pretty close. The previous day low for today is close to the previous day close, so that's fine. But below that, you have 40. Then you have the previous day close from this day and this day over here. So very good clean levels. CGC is on a tear, as you can see here. It's been moving up nicely. Tons of volume, and look at the volume here just coming in. So today could be one of those days. I do not have shares for short on this with my broker, but I will watch it for a possible long play. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5. I can watch one more. Delta, what's going on with Delta? I just don't like the pre-market action on Delta. Again, the volume is there, but yeah, it doesn't look great, so I'm not going to watch Delta. WTR is no volume, so we'll get rid of WTR. MBOT, let's see what MBOT is doing now. It's kind of holding this previous day close here. Volume at 677,000 shares traded. So for the low flows, I'm going to watch either ABIL or MBI. Although ABIL is really losing it here. It's got to find a bottom for a possible fallen angel. So I'll decide between those two which I'm going to watch. All right, excellent. Okay, anything else I might have missed, guys, you have on your end? Over here. All right, so we have ARR. All right, that's definitely has the volume. ARR 1.1 million shares traded so far, down 2.8 at the moment. What's the news on ARR? What's the flow also? I do have shares for sure. Not too low flow, for 41 million shares, so not too bad. You know what? This could be yeah, this could be in play. I like the way this looks right now. Starting to pick up. This didn't look good from here to here. But now look at the volume comes in. The volume is everything, right? Creates this beautiful price action. So yeah, we could watch this. This could be my number 6 here. All right, pretty good. Let's find some levels for ARR over here. All right, so let's go to our daily chart. So I like that it's gapping down 2.7. That's nice. Low of the day, low of the pre-market so far, hanging around 2031. Below that, you have a day over here, 2019, and then you have on 1977. Then towards the top, towards the upside, you have this day over here around 2063, and then you have a clear one over here around 2089. Then you have the previous day close towards the top side. We can also mark down the high of the pre-market right now at 2050 54. So good pre-market action. Didn't start good. This is an ugly pre-market action here. You don't want to trade stocks that look like this, but this from here on is starting to create a really nice price action. And again, it's all about the volume. Look at this volume coming in. So this could be good. I do have shares for short, so we could play this both ways. All right, excellent. That's a good one. C was in play yesterday. Usually stocks that are in play yesterday, like C was, could be in play today. Maybe not right at the open. Like right now, it only has 87,000 shares traded, so not a lot of volume, not a good pre-market action. But this is something you can watch later on in the day and see how it plays out, if it creates another opportunity for a trend trade or reversal that you can take. All right, so we have some questions here. So now just want to kind of go over some of the levels we have here. So this is the question about what are the red lines. So let me talk about previous day close lines here. Let me find a good chart that has them clean. Not PCGA, probably AMD. So in our chart on Dash Trader Pro, we already automatically have the previous day low marked and the previous day, right? The 2 days ago low here. These are automatically marked by these red dots. So when I talk about we have the low of 2 days ago is this one here and this one here. Then we also automatically mark the top of the day, right? So the previous high from 2 days ago and the previous high from yesterday. So these are automatically marked in our charts because these could be potential significant support and resistance levels, right? So these are entered automatically. And then we have the previous day close, which is this dotted line, which is where the stock closed yesterday, which, as you know, can also be a strong support or resistance level. Then we're finding levels based on the daily chart, and we talk about this in our classes. We have levels based on, for example, this is a strong level, right? This stock goes all the way up to 2143 and then bounces from there. And in most cases, you go back, look at 2143, right? You see how 2143 is kind of being also supported by several days. This one here, right? This one here, because again, it's an area, it's not going to be exact. So these 2 days are supported by that 2143. You have this day closing around that area too as well, so that's also important. So again, the more days that get close to that level, the stronger that support or resistance becomes. All right, so hopefully that answers your question. All right, guys, so this is what I have so far. Decent watch list. Let's go through it again, see what we got going on. On the gappers, we have AL and Y. Let's see what that's about. AL and Y is popping up now. And not a good pre-market action, doesn't look great. Volume is so-so. It is gapping down 7.2, but the pre-market action is not doesn't look great, so I'm not gonna watch it for now. It could get better later in the morning, closer to the opening bell. So I'll see what how that looks, and then maybe I'll get rid of the one that doesn't look as great here. All right, so let's go to NVEV. What we have here, so kind of build a base here around 740, starting to bounce back now. Volume's dried up a little bit, but that's okay. Come back. It has 1.4 million shares traded so far. It's gapping up 7.4, so this stock will be in play. It has a good daily chart, right? It's going above. It has broke through all these moving averages, kind of hanging out up here, making a new high. Hasn't been up here in a while, back in October last year. So this could be good. Next we have JP Morgan. Let's see if JP Morgan is looking better, because it wasn't looking great earlier. So JP Morgan at the moment, yeah, still kind of pretty flat. This might be one that I might get rid of, because it's still kind of pretty flat right here. Not a great pre-market action, although it has the volume. You know, the volume is just not creating a nice flow. I like to see a nice flow when on the pre-market action. PCG is heading towards the low of the day. I mean, the low of all-time low, right there at 651. So it's really losing it now. We do have shares for short. You just got to sit on the ask when it's on short selling restriction. So that's good. Let's see what it does when it gets to that 660 again. That's the low of the pre-market. See if it bounces back from there. AMD is nice. Tons of volume as usual. Gapping up 1.2. So that's good. CGC is holding this these levels over here. Might want to come back up above VWAP. Volume is great. 833,000 shares, gapping up 1.9. So this looks good. Again, it's been on a tear. So don't be long biased on this. People could start taking profits here if if they got in here, they've been riding this for a while, and they see this kind of hesitation towards the upside. It could be a point where they might want to take profits. This could drop, and then it can go back up. But again, just make sure you're managing your risk to reward, and that you are really focused on what the market is giving you. Right? Don't go past your stop losses. And managing your risk is extremely important in stocks like this that can move 30-50 cents on you in a matter of a minute or two. So very, very careful. ARR is turning to be really nice, losing it here back at VWAP on the 5-minute chart. Let's see if it holds this level and if it goes higher. It is down 2.8% today, but 1.3 million shares traded so far. So that's tons of volume for this stock. So again, another stock where you don't want to be short biased. Again, this could be a good opportunity for people to buy, and this can pop up. So make sure you're waiting for your edge. You're waiting for a good, clean risk to reward opportunity. No fear of missing out. Stick to your strategy. If your strategy is to wait 5 minutes, make sure you do that. No FOMO 2019 is what Norm is campaigning. I'm with him on that. So again, no fear of missing out. Stick to your rules. All right, guys. So here's our watch list for today. Thank you guys on YouTube for joining us. We appreciate it. Hope this was helpful. Andrew will be on in about a few minutes, around 9:15 or so. And then we will see what his watch list building is, and if it's different than mine, or he has a better stock that he finds that I can switch off here, that'll be great as too. The great thing is that we all can watch different things, and it's all about finding that great opportunity, a good risk management, good edge that you can identify and take advantage of. All right. And then sometimes people with more experience, like Andrew has amazing experience. He has a 5 years plus of experience. He might see something that I might not see. So when he does his watches, for me, it's a learning experience as well. I'm watching him doing what he's doing. I'm seeing what I did, and then compare it to see, what could be the best opportunity for me at the open. All right, guys, thank you for joining us on YouTube. See you guys soon, and I hope you have an amazing day. Stay disciplined and stay green, and I'll see you guys soon.